Hello, and welcome to Acting Mastery Online. I'm Madison Mason. In this video, we're diving into the art of making powerful acting choices. You know, those moments that truly set performances apart. And to help illustrate this, we'll explore some of the beautiful work of the brilliant Rhea Seahorn. So let's get started. Before we dive in, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tips, insights, inspiration, and endless stories from me, Madison Mason, at Acting Mastery Online. I'm going to call this video You Choose, because it's about choices, about the choices we make as actors. And later in the video, I'm going to show you a brilliant example of an actress making choices, internal, subtle, and absolutely incendiary, so powerful. Because we agree that in our life, thoughts create our emotions, right? For example, when I think about what some nasty person may have said or done to me in the past, I can be right back in that anger or that hurt or that pain. Or remembering that cute little baby cooing in their crib, it makes me feel warm and loving right away. You feel it. In acting, the same law applies. The difference is, in life, the change happens spontaneously and often subconsciously without our awareness. It motivates us and we may not even know it. Whereas in our acting, we choose what emotions we want our character to experience at any given point. And then we find the thoughts, the memories, the recollections of experiences that evoke that desired emotion. That's what we refer to as making choices. Choices. That's really our job as actors, to make choices, to find the emotions and live them in the moment. The degree to which we allow the feelings to be seen or to animate us or our character is also a matter of choice. We may not want it to be seen. Sometimes we use what some people call creative hiding, but if you're feeling it, the audience will sense it. They're very smart and they're very intuitive. And if I'm going too fast here, shoot me a comment. But choose carefully when you make your choices. Choices can backfire. For example, I'm watching reruns of a good detective show from the 90s. Very successful. Had a core cast of 5 characters, 2 leads and 3 supporting. One of the supporting actors clearly made one choice for his character before they even shot the first frame, I'm sure. And he stuck with that choice. That was the choice he played for 5 seasons, nothing else. He gave himself nowhere to go. His performance was completely lacking in imagination. We saw no variation. It was a flat line in 100 episodes, and the writers were writing some really good stuff for him on occasion, but nothing. It was like watching a 5-foot-long 2x4 for 5 seasons, just a stick of wood. The performance was so boring, I renamed the character Boring Expositions. But even as an expository character, you bring a life, you bring depth, you bring heights, you bring colors. You don't just play that one thing for 5 seasons. If you don't know what that means, expository character, text me, I'll tell you. But he performed his role like he was on Thorazine. And check this out. I wound up working with this actor on that show. He's a nice guy. I think that's who he was, even off camera. I guess the producers and the network execs liked it. He certainly didn't threaten to outshine the leads. Nobody had to worry about that. He did nothing but that one thing for 5 years. But it worked for the show. And then, people, there are actors like the lady that I'm about to show you. This is a beautiful example, I believe, of making choices, using sense memory, internal monologue, vulnerability, and total commitment all rolled into one. This is from one of the masterpieces, I believe, by the brilliant Vince Gilligan, Better Call Saul. Spun off from his legendary Breaking Bad. This guy can write. And the actress you're about to see is a lovely woman named Rhea Seahorn, whose character starts out as a pretty straight-laced and ethical lawyer. And over 4 or so seasons, she totally loses her moral direction. The problem, she falls in love with Saul, who's a grifter, and who gets her involved in a lot of shady shit. And she knows what he is. She knows he's totally unethical, but she falls. Hey, it's a love. Sometimes love is blind. And she does some really dark things that smash hard against the law and her inner integrity. And when she finally wakes up to who she has become, she can't live with it. And to make amends to the world and to herself, she turns him in. And it's going to be very bad for her, too. And this is a scene where she confronts what she has done, alone. I'll be back after this and we will discuss it. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Rhea Seahorn. Well, what can we say about Miss Seahorn? This woman is a master of her craft. If I ask you what you saw, you'd probably say, well, I saw a woman on a bus have an emotional breakdown, and basically that's it. Yes, and you would be correct. But how did the actress go about it? Well, you can see her. First, this artist started thinking. She had something going on in her head. Some monologue or dialogue or pictures or a movie or voices, something she could not handle. I don't know what she had. She might not be able to tell you herself. But what she did have had to be monumental. You get that, don't you? Good. And then she started feeling it. She started letting it get to her, and the more she thought about it, the more she felt it, and the heavier and denser it became. And you can see it in her body and in her face and in her physical movements. You can feel what she's feeling. You don't know why. You don't know what she's thinking. You may not know what it's all about, but you can feel her agony. The intensity rises. She has a conversation with herself, whatever it is she's saying, and it explodes into emotion, and she cannot control it. The dam bursts, the power of whatever it is she's confronting bursts forth, and she is out of control with grief, with sorrow, with shame, with stress, with the agony of everything. It just bursts forth and she lets it go. This actress is living this moment alone, and she goes into convulsions of sorrow. Whatever the thing is that she's feeling that is tearing her apart, and she lets it happen. Okay, that's brilliant. Enough said. Except this. What I see is an actress sitting on a cold, empty city bus with an extra sitting next to her, moving through traffic, probably later at night after a long day's shoot. I think they shot it in Albuquerque. But what none of us sees is right across from her, from Miss Seahorn, on the opposite plastic bench is a cameraman, an assistant, a director, an assistant director, a script supervisor, a sound man, lighting people, a makeup person, maybe a producer, and a couple more people thrown in. Maybe 8, 10 people, all staring straight at her and whispering each other, and probably a couple of them chewing gum. And she has to erase them all from her consciousness and be alone, solely alone in that space. And then out of nothing, out of thin air, she has to pull this nervous breakdown. The director can try to help her, but really, she's on her own. And she has to do it more than once. For angles, problems, the lighting, the bus hits a pothole, jolts the camera like I just did this one. Maybe she didn't like one and she wants another take. Whatever. And how many takes like that can you do? That is killer intense. That's a lot of emotion. That takes a lot out of a person. And that's what I mean when I say that this woman is a master at her craft. Forgive me, her art. And that's what choices are about. She chose everything that we saw happen. She didn't say, okay, she's sad, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to start crying if I can work up the tears, boo-hoo-hoo. She made real choices, and you can see it. I imagine she said, okay, I want to be in this place and see that and think this and go here. And then she let herself think those things that would put her into this emotional state and block out all of the people sitting across from her and be totally lost in her own world. It's amazing. Now, I don't know Miss Seahorn, and I'm sure she has no idea who I am, but I think it'd be really cool to meet her one day and ask her if she remembers what her thought process was when she shot that scene. If I invite her to come on Acting Mastery Online and talk to us about it, I wonder if she would. I bet she would. If you want me to try, just let me know in the comments below. This is all purely educational. It's within the fair use guidelines. It's just a great example of fine quality in our art on all the craft levels. They all got together and made that a lonely, nihilistic, bleak scene. And that, my students, is art. So here's your assignment for the week. I want you to sit down and spend a little time and think, okay? 10, 15 minutes, not a lot, but just think alone and really focus. Reflect on choices that you may have made in your work that gave you an authentic feeling. Also, find moments in your favorite movies where the actor's choice made magic. Always keep in mind that your choices define the magic you create. Start looking for great choices in your own acting work, great acting moments. Email me some reports on what you find, okay? I can't wait to see where your choices take you next. Okay, that's it for this lesson. I admire your commitment to yourself, and remember to leave comments below. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff, helps us grow. Be kind to everyone. And always remember, you are the artist.